This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, good morning. 6:32 this morning here on the Morning Drive with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, and Travis. I'm Chuck Heinz. It's great to have you with us today on this Thursday edition of the Morning Drive. I told you about all the Big 12 selections for Red Raider softball, but also Caitlin Terry was named the USA Today Sports Player of the Year.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at her numbers, I mean, 476 average, 69 hits on the year, and 145 at-bats, 10 home runs, 50 RBI, has 13 doubles, but also on the mound, oh, by the way, 21-1 with a 139 earned run average.
Pretty impressive two-way player.
Yes. I mean, her teammate, Nigeri Kennedy, her ERA is better at 130, or 1.30, I should say, depending on how you like to do that. But Nigeri's 21-4 on the season. And so, yeah, there you go. But, yeah, it's crazy.
Man,
crazy numbers.
You had a conversation of which player is more important to the team. Boy, you could really struggle trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Nigeri kind of sets the tone, but a two-way superstar like that, like Caitlin is, man, you could make the case.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That she's the one. Baseball from yesterday. Boy, it's not a good day to be a Houston Astros fan. They lose to the Dodgers 12-2. That's just after beating Shohei Ohtani 2-1. So the Dodger bats, I'm sure Shohei's like, hey, whoa, where was this yesterday? You know, but they win 12-2. And then to top that off, the Astros learned that Carlos Correa is done for the year. After he tore a tendon in his left ankle, he'll have season-ending surgery. Mm-hmm. He is going to get it looked at again. But he was taking swings in the batting cage, Jamie.
Yeah.
And just he said he heard a pop, and he said it was just his normal routine. And it's just kind of one of those things that could happen. He immediately went down, couldn't put any weight on it. And it's estimated he'll be out 6 to 8 weeks. He said to reporters, it just completely snapped on me, and then I fell to the ground. So...
Well, 6 to 8 weeks is not
6 to 8 months. I'm sorry,
okay.
6 to 8 months. Yeah,
that's not done for the season.
Yeah, 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll get a medical red shirt and they can appeal, and he'll get this year back.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
that was a joke, Chuck.
I know. He'll still get paid. You know, you can always get the old medical red shirt. You know, get an extra year. Maybe he can go back to school. The Rangers, as we've documented in the sports centers this morning already, in case you didn't know and didn't stay up late last night with them, beat the Yankees 6-1. Really, the star was Nathan Eovaldi. It's good to see him pitching well. He's now 4-4 on the season. So
if he just pitched against the Yankees every time, feels like he'd be fantastic.
He went 8 innings. Okay. 3 hits, excuse me, 8 strikeouts for him. Did give up a home run, but man, that's spinning it last night.
1 run in 8 innings. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's really good,
especially against that lineup. You know, that's been just so potent this year, and it's 13 games over 500. So I was listening yesterday on my way home, and Will Warren was the starter for the Yankees. And they were talking about, and then I was kind of wondering how this works for the Red Raiders. They were talking about his splits versus left-handers versus right-handers. The Rangers had 4 left-handers in the lineup yesterday, but Warren so far early on in the season has pitched better. He's a right-hander against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching.
Okay.
And
so he's got reverse splits then?
Yeah, he's got reverse splits. And when Matt Hicks was talking to Skip Schumacher about it, he's like, well, I don't really expect that to be the case over the course of the season. That'll kind of turn around. And I just kind of, my thought was when I was listening, I was like, well, I wonder how that works for the Red Raiders if you if you see that from time to time, or if it stays pretty traditional, that righties do better against left-handers and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, 98% of all pitchers are better against guys that bat from the same side of the plate. Right-handed pitchers are better against right-handed hitters, but there are guys that are opposite, and it doesn't happen a lot, but it happens every once in a while. But it for the most part normally stays true to form. I mean, Mariano Rivera was a guy that, if you were a switch hitter, you wanted to hit right-handed against Mariano, who was a right-handed pitcher, because that cutter would ride in on your hands. The movement was glove side run, and you don't want it moving in on your hands. So it was easier as a right-handed hitter to face Mariano Rivera than it was a left-handed hitter. So he was the opposite guy, but he's the kind of the famous one in that regard. Yeah.
And I just was wondering if there's anybody like that for Tech this year that did better against the opposite side, or if it's been true to form.
Yeah, I mean, I could look it up for you. But for the most part, righties are better against righties. It's one of the problems that you have had is that, as far as left-handers go, I mean, you didn't start the year with enough, and then two of them have gotten hurt, and Ryan Free and Jesse Rusnick, and so you're left with Jordan Espinoza as your one left-hander right now.
So it makes it obviously challenging. Is Rusnick done for the year, or do you know?
Don't know.
Okay.
Don't know.
Well, we haven't seen him though in quite some time, right?
Oh, we've seen him. He's with the team.
No, I know, but I mean, he hasn't pitched in quite some time.
He has not played.
Yeah, played
since Utah series.
Since the Utah series. Okay.
Yeah, when he got hurt.
Yeah, no, I know that you've seen him. It's not like he's been.
Well, no, some guys I don't see.
Okay.
Some guys don't travel with the team.
So that's always the indication to you that
they're probably done for the year
when they don't travel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good indication. Like, I mean, Parker Hutera and Dylan Blakely aren't traveling with the team. Ryan Free is not traveling with the team. But, Jackson Burns and Jesse Rusnick still are. Okay.
Well, that's a good sign. We'll have the Yankees and the Rangers.
Well, there's not much of the season left. So if they're going to come back,
this week or next.
It's got to,
right. I got you.
Got to come along.
I got you. Yankees and the Rangers today from New York at 11. Balls and strikes to follow at 11:35. The Rangers will send Mackenzie Gore 2-2 with a 467 earned run average. They're 17-19 are the Rangers. Yankees go with Paul Blackburn. He's 1-1 with a 321 earned run average. The Yankees are 13 above 500 at 25-12. So they've been kind of smoking it.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Here on the Morning Drive, time for This Day in Sports History. Today is Thursday, May the 7th, 2026. With This Day in Sports History, here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start in 1956. New York Yankee giant Bill White pulls a Josh Young. That's homering in your first major league at bat.
How about that?
Never mind that Josh wasn't born for 40-some years. 1972, 26th NBA championship. Lakers beat the Knicks 4-1. Chuck, I know you're a big fan of the traditional rivals in the NBA.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Lakers Knicks or Lakers Celtics?
Lakers Celtics.
Lakers Celtics.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think with what the Knicks are doing right now is pretty electric, and I think Madison Square Garden will be on fire when the Sixers and the Knicks play next.
1994. Denver Nuggets become the NBA's first 8 seed to beat a 1 seed. Can you name that seed? The number 1.
From
1994.
Seattle.
That is correct.
Wow, good job, Jamie.
Well done, Jamie.
Kembe Mutombo, Michael Adams, and company.
Okay. Hugging on the floor afterwards.
Dikembe was hugging the basketball. That's the video you always see, the highlight. Actually, holding it up, and laying on his back, and he's talking to the ball.
2016, the number 8 Texas Tech Red Raiders pounced on Kansas with 6 runs in the 3rd inning as the Red Raiders clinched their 6th Big 12 Series win of the season following a 9-2 win Tech got 7 shutout innings from Stephen Gingrey to record their 6th Big 12 Series win. Tech most in a season since 2004. That Stephen Gingrey guy, he was pretty good.
It's very good.
And in 2021, Cincinnati Reds pitcher Wade Miley no-hits the Cleveland Indians 3-0 at Progressive Field in Cleveland. It is National Roast Leg of Lamb Day. Oh, Laura.
I have never had it.
I have not.
Neither have I, but all I can think of when I hear leg of lamb is oh, Laura.
Yes,
that PSA is burned in our brains for the remainder of time.
Yes, we gave it a lot of awareness. Oh, Laura.
Birthdays today. Alex Smith is 42 and Sean Marion is 48. And gentlemen, I give you a choice. Would you rather hear about music, a ship, or a painting?
Wow.
Ship,
yeah.
Ship.
Yeah.
1915, British ocean liner Lusitania is torpedoed without warning by German submarine off the south coast of Ireland. Within 20 minutes, the vessel sank into the Celtic Sea. Of the 1,959 passengers and crew, 1,198 people drowned, including 128 Americans. The attack aroused considerable indignation from the United States, but Germany defended their actions, noting that it had issued warnings of its intent to attack all ships, neutral or otherwise, that entered the war zone around Britain. And a ship that sinks in 20 minutes, not necessarily just carrying non-explosive cargo in a war zone.
You're saying that...
I'm just saying ships don't sink that fast, and that is this day in sports history.
All right, 6:49. I'll take your word for it.
It's been all but confirmed that it was carrying
weapons,
ammunition for the war effort.
And it blew up as it got...
As it got torpedoed, yes.
Yeah. And it kind of...
Makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. That's this day in sports history. I like the word indignation. Indignation. Looking at the box score from the Ranger game last night, Josh Young's 13-game hitting streak came to an end.
Man.
Yeah. So his best was 14, and his was the longest current streak going into last night's game in the American League. So clearly he's done wonders here in the early portion of the season after getting off to a rough start. And he really turned it around really quick. So, I mean...
Once he got his first hit, he caught up very quickly.
Yeah, he did, right? He sure did.
Took him a little bit to get that first one.
Yeah, but made it happen very, very quickly. So, good for him. All right. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that of the mobile app. Seeing that, and I was just going to get your take on this, Framber Valdez, who now pitches for the Detroit Tigers, he was suspended yesterday for 5 games by Major League Baseball for intentionally throwing at Boston Red Sox shortstop Trevor Story. So basically what he's going to have is he's going to have a missed start,
right.
What that comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
And A.J. Hinch, the manager of the Tigers, gets a 1-game suspension. He cannot appeal his suspension, but he'll sit out. He sat out last night's game. Both were also fined an undisclosed amount. So Valdez had already allowed 8 runs in the game. Then Wilson Contreras hits a home run. Contreras flipped the bat after watching it, and then a couple pitches later there was another one, and then that led to Story getting hit between the numbers on his back. So I guess they didn't like the retaliation by Framber Valdez. He said after
I think there was some thought of the Red Sox players out at second base also
chirping.
No, stealing signs and relaying them to hitters and stuff like that. Typical baseball stuff.
But I mean, in something like that, you're fine with a player stealing signs, right? And tipping off their teammates.
I mean, it's just part of the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if you can't...
You can't be too obvious about it, because then I think it will annoy the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's some of that. Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess my point is that if you can't disguise that you're doing that, then that's kind of on you, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
You know? Mm-hmm. And, you know, back in the day, Valdez throwing a ball at a player, that would have really meant nothing. But now it's 5-game suspension.
Valdez is the same guy that threw at his own player when he was with the Astros. He crossed up his catcher on purpose because he was mad at him to hit his catcher, and it worked. I mean, so anything that Framber Valdez does is par for the course. You don't really, he's not a guy that really has earned the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. But I mean, you don't have
I don't have a problem with him hitting him. I don't have a problem with, because I think it's part of baseball, as long as you hit him in the right place, as long as it's nowhere near the head. If it's just because you gave up a home run, I don't like it. If it's because you didn't like the bat flip, I don't think guys should bat flip like they do as much. But again, if you do it towards your own team, I'm okay with it. I think that's fine. I didn't see the bat flip, so I'm not really certain of it. But, yeah, I mean, I hate that they've taken those kind of things out of baseball.
Yeah,
to be completely honest,
okay.
I think that guys would act differently, maybe talk a little bit less if you could still throw at them.
Have a little playground justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's really kind of was what I was hoping you were going to say, and it just took me a while to get you to ask you the right question.
Okay. Yeah, I believe in the old style of baseball. I do.
Okay. All right. It's just before 7. That's hour number 1 this morning here on the Morning Drive. 6:55. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. Visual Edge IT hotline. It's open. 806-771-0973. If you care to weigh in on your way in to your office or place of business or work.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jamie Lent and Travis and Jeff, I'm Chuck. So it's great to be with you today. 7:15 this morning here on the Morning Drive. So I guess couple more things on the Sorsby deal. They can't pay for him, and USA Today is also still reporting that the Cincinnati Athletic Department was alerted last August of his habitual gambling, and that the NCAA learned of his problem anonymously earlier this month.
I think that's probably what we all assumed, right?
Yeah, right. And, you know, I mean, and we're all kind of connecting that dot real quick, right? It's like, this, and then the Sorsby lawsuit. It's a triangle. It's all. So the report
is that Cincinnati knew when?
Last August.
So
it's obviously before the season. Cincinnati has denied that they didn't know that, which of course they would. Otherwise, they'd be in hot water. And you have to think that they're in some hot water, right? And you have to think at some point in time.
I think it's if it can be proven that they knew.
Yeah. They have to think at some point in time that they're gonna, the NCAA is gonna kind of point their finger at Cincinnati and go, okay, well, what did you guys know and when did you know it?
Yeah.
Well, when did you really?
What are you really going to do to them, though?
Well, I mean, what you can do to them, you can take away wins, which, you know, how much does that?
Whoop-de-doo.
How much does that hurt?
Yeah.
And really, all you're doing is you're hurting the guys that weren't there, that were there, but they know on the field of play what took place. So, you know, the difference is it's not like they're going to take away a national championship or a Final Four like they've done with Michigan and, you know, folded up those Final Four banners and put them in the vault, you know. So, this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line, though I don't condone what Sorsby did, I can't help that this was orchestrated by Cincinnati. Well, there's probably some sour grapes, and there's also probably some, hey, he's not paid his bill, so we're going to make sure that he doesn't get to play anywhere else.
Yeah, orchestrated by Cincinnati or not, if he's guilty of the accusations or whatever, then that doesn't make it okay because Cincinnati was the one that told on him.
Yeah. One other story from USA Today with regard to this, and this is a story that was written on May the 4th by John Bryce. I just saw it last night. Two different people with knowledge of the situation, speaking on the condition of anonymity, talked about that the FBI could choose to investigate these gambling activities at some point in time. That this particular college executive says it's not guaranteed, but it could be in terms of a probe. I don't think it's automatic, but would it be in their jurisdiction or perhaps they're interested? Yes, because part of it is, he bet when he was underage. So, and the other thing that I've seen too is that he used, I don't want to say different name, but I mean, it was like he had means of using without really identifying who he was. So, it's a third-party partner. Another person with direct knowledge of the Sorsby case stressed it's not yet known conclusively if Sorsby bet on his own teams, adding that a flag alerts them, the third-party partner used in college athletics for gambling, which then notifies the respective school. The second, a student-athlete puts a wager on an NCAA-sponsored sport, it's a flag and an investigation start. So who knows? It's just there's a lot of layers there.
Sure are.
And when he turned 21 is also a factor. And what did those gambling places do to, protect themselves from? It's just like the bar that has the underage drinkers. I mean, and from time to time the TABC will go into bars and do some checks of, IDs. I mean, kids have been, busted for having an underage ID, or bars have been busted for having underage drinkers forever and a day, and I'm sure that goes on in the gambling world as well.
Yeah, I saw a story this weekend where I thought was pretty funny that not funny, but there is a part that's funny to me. The Minnesota quarterback was arrested in Fayetteville.
Okay.
For underage drinking and having a fake driver's license. Do you think if the Arkansas quarterback was caught doing these things in Fayetteville, that he would have been arrested and there would have been a story? But apparently his hometown is Fayetteville, and he was home and went to a bar and got caught.
Okay.
But I'm guessing that the Minnesota quarterback, if he was the Arkansas quarterback, would have somehow, that wouldn't have been made a story.
Yes, I think that's very.
That's the part that cracked me up.
Yeah, yeah. Cameron says this kind of sounds like how if you use a fake ID with a different name, it's worse because it can be impersonation too. Yeah. Again, you just. And you wonder how long it's going to take for the NCAA to rule, and does the fact that he's in this treatment program, does that delay it, and will that come back to bite him a little bit because he's going to be further down the road and it's just going to get kicked to a court, and is it going to be all settled by the time we get to the first football game? I guess we still have enough time. I mean, it's May the 7th, so. But we also know how slow the courts can work and how slow the NCAA can work. So
yeah, another interesting thing that I saw yesterday, and I think a lot of people believe that part of him going to this rehab and going through this process is also to show the NFL that he's trying to make good on his indiscretion, so to speak, and that the NFL owners all have to approve him if there's going to be a supplemental draft, or there has to be a majority that approve him, right?
Okay.
And that there are a lot of NFL people that don't think he'll get the votes to even be eligible for a supplemental draft.
Yeah. That to me, I think, too, is, if the NCAA says, hey, you're not going to play, then why would the NFL take a guy that's got a scarlet letter on him so quickly?
Yeah, it feels like there might have to be a suspension served or something.
Yeah, some time until the next draft. ESPN reported yesterday that state gaming regulators in multiple states have launched investigations into this alleged betting activity. The Indiana Gaming Commission, the Ohio Gaming Commission, investigating Sorsby, as well. Officials for the IGC, which is the Indiana Gaming Commission, and a spokesman for the Ohio Casino Control Commission confirmed the investigations to ESPN, but declined to provide further details. The Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming told ESPN it's aware of the case and is working with the NCAA, which has opened its own investigation into Sorsby's alleged betting and is reviewing its situation with its licensees. So that doesn't sound good. He had accounts with sports books and daily fantasy operators in several states, according to multiple sources with direct knowledge of the matter, who described him as a high-volume, low-stakes bettor, which is what we've heard, meaning he made many wagers for small amounts. Some were placed under an account using a different name, multiple sources have said. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't sound good. Remember, Iowa State's former quarterback, Hunter Deckers, was ruled ineligible after a criminal investigation revealed he had wagered on at least one game involving the Cyclones, and it was a very small bet, but it was one game, much like Sorsby. So, I mean, there's the history, kind of the ruling before. So, I don't know, just...
Any of you guys have a hammer?
I know. Do you want to hit you over the head with? I'm so sorry, but
just beat myself with a hammer.
Yeah.
This conversation it's going to continue every day, and it's necessary that it continues.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, we're talking Red Raider football today. Mm-hmm. My question for you, yardage-wise, who will be the leading rusher for Texas Tech, and who will be the leading receiver for Texas Tech?
I think Quentin Joyner's going to be the leading rusher. I think coming off the injury list, I think he's got the speed. I think that he'll be a guy that'll be fresh. And then I think Coy Aiken's going to have a bounce back year for the Red Raiders. So those are my two answers.
Okay.
I think Cameron Dickey is going to lead the team. I think he's going to have the inside track to get more carries because Joyner was out last year. And then I think Micah Hudson's going to have a breakout year and lead the team in receiving.
Okay. I'm going to go with Cam Dickey. I think he was terrific last year at 11-24. And I think he'll end up being the lead dog for you again this year. I think he surprised everybody with how good he was last year, or surprised a lot of people. Definitely surprised me. So I think he ends up being the lead guy. It may be a little bit less because he's sharing a lot of the load with Quentin Joyner. And I think your leading receiver, yardage-wise, is going to be Terrence Carter Jr. I think that he's going to have a monster season for the Red Raiders.
Okay. Well, it's good to have options.
Yes, that's a positive.
Yeah, it's good to have options.
Mm-hmm. And you have plenty on both of those fronts.
Mm-hmm. Of the three, who would you be the most surprised at if they were the leading receiver? The three that we mentioned.
Give me the three names: Carter,
Aiken, and Micah Hudson.
Yardage-wise, probably Micah Hudson.
Just because you wonder how much he's going to...
Yeah, you just have a lot of wide receivers, so, but I get it. You have a lot of options, so it could be a bunch of guys all bunched together. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just, I guess, kind of where he has been compared to being the leading receiver would be a massive jump.
Yeah, and the other thing too is kind of depends on who your quarterback's going to be. I mean, if it's Sorsby, which I don't know, I flip-flop every day on this. I mean, would kind of lead you to believe that maybe it's Micah or Terrence Carter. But if it's somebody else, it might be a completely different receiver because your passes to them, or you're not necessarily going as much downfield as you maybe would have.
Probably with Sorsby, you're pushing the ball down the field a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair enough. If Will Hammond is your starting quarterback for most of the season, I don't think he did as much of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would change things up a little bit.
Do you think your starting quarterback, whomever it is, or just let's say your starting quarterback yardage, let's just say it's one of the backups now, and then it's Hammond week 3. Okay, and let's say Sorsby's not playing. Do you think the starting quarterback rush yardage outgains one of the 3 running backs?
One of the 3?
Yeah, so you've got 3 with Jacoby Williams and Cam Dickey and Quentin Joyner. Do you think your starting quarterback yardage combined, rush yardage combined,
by all quarterbacks,
outgains one of those 3 guys?
Probably Jacoby. I think that's possible because I don't think Jacoby's going to be used as a straight up just, hand the ball off in the backfield guy as much as he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll see him catching the ball out of the backfield. I think you'll see him lining up in the slot. I think you'll see him as a bigger factor in the return game. All of those things. And
the yards after catches, too. This Terrence Carter should get a ton of yards regardless because he seems to fight the safety blanket tight end role well.
Mm-hmm. He's a mismatch nightmare.
Yeah. And it just seems like he's a guy that can wiggle out of things, right? He's got some strength to him. So, all right, 7:37 this morning here on the Morning Drive. The first time I read this text, I was thinking, oh, they're talking about football. But then I realized, oh, they're talking about softball. And then I thought to myself, well, there's a possibility that this could be football, because here's the text, Jamie. While this year's team has a better record in conference and overall than last year's team, the only thing different is expectations. Last year's team snuck up on some teams. This year's team isn't sneaking up on anyone and has a considerable bigger target on their backs. You could say that about softball, which is going on right now, or football in the fall.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you could. I don't think softball snuck up on anybody last year.
Okay.
I mean, the minute you spend $1 million on Najee Kennedy, I think the softball world knew you were legit.
Yeah. You went out and got yourself a premium player, obviously.
Yeah, no doubt.
But anyway, I just thought that was, I don't know, I thought that was interesting, just the way that it was worded. And maybe you would say the same thing about football. Well, hey, you went out and got David Bailey. Hey, you went out and got Lee Hunter. Hey, you went out and got Skylar Gill-Howard. You beefed up your defense. Did we really sneak up on anybody in football last year?
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to say the same thing.
Well, the obvious part there, Chuck, would have, I mean, if you've just some context clues there, would have, this team has a better record.
Well, I know, I know, but I mean,
you would have been able to figure out.
No, I got you.
Didn't say will have. He said has.
I know, but when I read it at first glance, you're just as you're talking and reading, sometimes the walking and chewing gum at the same time, it's 2 and 2 doesn't always equal 4. And so when I read it the second time, I realized they were talking about softball. But then I was like, yeah, I mean, you might be able to say that about football at some point in time in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not sneaking up on anybody this football season, no doubt, after what you did last year.
Big 12 champions, coming back.
And again, I don't really know that you snuck up on anybody last year either.
Yeah.
Went into the season expected to win it, but Although there were lots of people that doubted it. They said, okay, yeah, you spent a lot of money, but can you actually win key games?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think even our fan base was like, okay, I think we're good enough to do this, but will we?
Yeah, because we haven't.
A deal. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I was.
Haven't done it before.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Morning Drive. Good morning with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, Travis, Chuck Heinz. Come to you from our humble abode here in downtown Lubbock, the First United Bank studio. At least we have the biggest studio of our 10 stations here, which we're the biggest station, so we should have the biggest studio. Okay? Kind of how I look at it. The most comfortable. Okay?
Are you counting the control room in that?
I'm counting the place where Jamie and I
If it's just you and Jamie, I think Magic is bigger.
I don't think so. No, we're very comfortable here. Anyway, bottom line is this. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Visual Edge IT hotline at 2 is open, 806-771-0973. We look forward to, at least I do, softball and baseball today. What are you laughing at?
I think probably this was one of those situations, Jeff, where the texter last week mentioned that, the whole contrarian thing, maybe you could have let that one go. I mean, if they're close to each other. Now, I'm not going to argue with you, okay, because you're probably right. They're both about the same size, whatever. But you probably just could have let that one go.
The bickering.
You could have let Chuck just have his
moment
belief of we're the biggest one, even if we're probably not.
Listen, I have no problem saying that we have the best audience. I have no problem saying that we have the best advertisers. I have no problem saying that we do the best job of bringing in money for the company. But sizes of rooms.
Oh, we went down a road that I really didn't intend to go down. So
welcome to the power hour.
Yeah, welcome to the power hour.
You two are very similar in that.
Pieces of work is what we are. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to the baseball today, but also the softball today. We'll have it for you at 1. Play-by-play at 1:30 from Oklahoma City as the Red Raiders take on Baylor in the opening round. I mean, it doesn't take much to play this thing. This is the quarterfinals because there's only 8 teams. So you have UCF and Kansas playing at 11, Tech and Baylor at 1:30, then Oklahoma State and Utah, and then Arizona and Arizona State. Those last 2 teams, the last 2 games, the winners will play each other. In the first 2 games, the winners will play each other, and the losers go home. I've asked you this before, but given kind of how it works with the NCAA tournament, getting underway right away and all that kind of stuff, and, at least on the baseball side, the concern of, teams coming through that, using up their pitching, although you don't have a double elimination. Would you like to see baseball go to 8 teams, or do you cool with the 12 on the baseball side?
Yeah, again, it's different this year on the baseball side of things. I like what they're doing this year, so I don't have a problem with the way they're doing it.
Okay, so you stand pat at 12 there, and you're fine with the 8 in the softball.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
They're allowed to be different.
No, I get it. I just didn't know if you had a preference. If you say, well, I wouldn't mind the baseball going to 8 to make quick work of it, and then on to the NCAA baseball tournament, regionals, supers, and all that kind of stuff. But I just was curious if you.
The way the Big 12 baseball has done this, I mean, do you know what the format is?
Single elimination.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do you know what it looks like?
I haven't seen the bracket.
Do you know what the change is?
I guess I don't.
You don't. Okay, so
I'll just fess up and say, if they made a change, I'm not aware of it.
Yes, they made a change.
And what's the biggest change?
Well, I mean, the first day on Tuesday, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are playing.
Mm-hmm.
The winners there move on and play teams that are 5 through 8. Okay. They're in action there, and then so what it basically does is if you are one of the teams that is near the top, that you really have you're given a better chance to win,
mm-hmm.
and you also don't have to use you don't have to play for 4 or 5 days to wear out your pitching staff, which makes you not really ready for the NCAA tournament the next week. So they've made it easier on the higher seeded teams, which is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Because those are the teams that are going to advance on. Now, if a team that finishes 10th is going to make it, they're going to have to wear out their entire pitching staff.
But they deserve that.
The chances of them making it and are going all the way through it aren't very good anyways. So it makes a lot of sense what they've done.
So, okay, so for lack of a better phraseology, could you call it a double bye for the top 4 teams?
Yeah, there's some of that.
Okay.
Yep, there's some of that. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I kind of like that.
It's fun to be in the know, right?
Well, I mean, it's discovery, is let's not let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Knowledge is fantastic.
Knowledge is good.
Okay,
Jamie.
so game. Let's just to give you this, just straight up.
Okay.
Tuesday, 12 versus 9, 11 versus 10. Right.
Okay.
Those winners move on and play the 8th seed and the 7th seed the next day.
Okay.
The first 2 days, there's just 2 games.
Okay.
Okay. Then on Thursday, you get 5 versus 4, and you get 3 versus 6. And then number 1 and 2 seeds play the winners of those games that were played on Wednesday. So by the time you get to Friday, you're down to 2 games, and then Saturday, 1 game. Okay, so
and how many games are on Wednesday? 2?
2.
Okay.
2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, 4 on Thursday.
Okay, so Thursday's
and the number 1 and the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seeds, all 6 of them, play their first games on Thursday.
Okay.
So the top 6 seeds, the max amount of games that they could play is 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This, Chuck, do you know where they play the Big 12 baseball tournament? Yes, in Arizona this year.
This year.
Yeah. Surprise, Arizona?
Correct.
Yeah. See, I know something. I don't know everything. I know a little bit about a lot. I know.
We're going to see how this goes because initial reports are not good about how they're handling things.
Favorable?
Oh, I'm just really, they're doing some silly stuff.
Okay.
I like the bracket, though.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how long is it in Surprise? Is it 2 years?
Don't know.
No.
I do not know that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I just worry about the year I'm in.
I got you. And the day you're in. And sometimes you're only as good as the day you're in. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning that. It's so true. You're only as good. No, Chuck, you're only as good as the day you're in. Okay. Yesterday was not a good day, but today's going to be a better one because I'm going to make it happen today, Jamie. 8:10 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, the mobile app. We'll have Red Raider Baseball on the air for you tonight, 6 o'clock, the broadcast time, 6:35, first pitch.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at WT973.com.